So you do not get the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You just don't get it. You can't get it. It won't happen. What you can get, though, is you can get the little dog gets very comfortable and then starts darting out on other dogs. So that's part of her personality, and that's a problematic part of her personality. It's not a part that we really want, but it's certainly something we want to see. So that's what you get when you get an evaluation. You get how a dog responds to different kinds of stresses. In kennels, the stress level is extremely high. There's some new information out about stress and illness. I mean, we all know that stress causes illness, but I guess there's even more information about it now. And the stress that is constant in a kennel environment not only causes physical problems, it also causes mental problems with the animals, both dogs and cats, and probably small companion animals as well. We just don't know as much about their brains as we know about ours. A dog that is stressed consistently has very high levels of different kinds of chemicals in their brain which interfere with their normal behavior. So if we were really going to be a good rescue organization, we would have each dog would have its own little room, and then they visit with each other a lot. So you keep the noise level down, and you keep all those dogs walking back and forth. Have you ever sat in one of our kennels? You sit in one of our kennels and you watch the people go by. They're like this. If somebody goes by, it's like this. You know, they see a face looking directly at them, and then the person goes by. Or if it's a member of the public, they go like this. You know, that's a really thing, that's going to make almost any dog get very, very highly stressed. Or they get the kids putting their fingers in there or whatever. I mean, our dogs are kind of like animals in a zoo. They just have to accept all that kind of stuff. So it's amazing sometimes how well they do, to be honest. But we will find out how they respond to stress, and some dogs respond much worse than others. How they do with strangers, especially like strangers who look weird, like people who have a lot of facial hair or wear a hat all the time, or people with uniforms. We're going to find out how they respond like that, and we're going to find out how the dog responds to being institutionalized. That's not like being in a home. This dog here responded to being institutionalized extremely poorly. Like many, many shepherds, he couldn't cope with it. He'd spin, he'd twirl, he'd lose coat. Of course, he does that anyway. You know, he had a lot of problems, and he had separation anxiety as well. And many of our dogs were like that. What's the dog who just got adopted the day before yesterday? Louis, yes, he got a home. Louis, when we put him into a foster home, did quite well. When we brought him here, as soon as you get him in the run, all of a sudden Louis' head was up here most of the time. Boom, boom, boom. Finally, somebody saw him on the internet, and they came over, and he was adopted, so which is extremely cool. And he will be a different dog again. So testing shows whether a dog has outstanding issues that will make them unadoptable. So what are outstanding issues? Well, if they bite people, that would be an outstanding issue. If a dog bites somebody, I don't think I'm going to put that dog up for adoption. If a dog might not like being handled, and it's not a pretty big deal, because you have to be able to pick up their feet, to look at their paws. You have to be able to do all kinds of things to them that they don't want you to do. And there are a lot of people out there who have dogs that they can't do a lot of touching with. Anybody here have a dog that they can't touch as much as they would like to? A couple people that because if I do it, I'm not sure what my dog is going to do. So you have to teach the dog over a period of time how to cope with that kind of thing. You know, I know a lot of people who wouldn't do very well with that either. But we require that our dogs be superhuman. We require that our dogs be better than people. We always do. If a dog has too much arousal, I was testing a little pit bull the other day, and he or she seemed like a fairly nice pit bull, except for once she started going, when she started playing, she would go over the top within about 30 seconds, and all of a sudden she was biting my arms. You know, she was doing things that were not appropriate and would probably lead to aggression later on. Too much arousal isn't a good thing. What we want to find out is whether the dog can get aroused and then can drop the energy level to something pretty calm. That was Louis' problem, by the way. He couldn't calm down in the run, but he could calm down outside of the run. The other one, the one that elicits more, I guess, controversy than anything else is food guarding or toy guarding. And the reason it's controversial is because most people don't understand that this is a behavior that can be contained in some cases, and in some cases it will be not contained at all. I remember fostering a mixed dog, this was several years ago, and I had 3 of my own dogs, and this little mix that I was fostering. And one of my dogs was walking past the place where the mix was, and he just went out. There was a bone in the middle, apparently. Nobody even knew that it was there because it was always going looking for it. And he just went right out and attacked my dog. That's inappropriate guarding of toys. And that was actually inappropriate guarding of toys with another dog. That dog never did it, by the way. So those are things that are really important and that we do need to know about. But it doesn't show whether a dog is going to be really territorial in a home environment. Whether or not, you're going to get that dog in a backyard and somebody, for instance, just lets them have the backyard. They don't go out and play with him there, so then it becomes their backyard. When it's their backyard and they start defending it, they may get overly territorial. We do know some breeds are like that. We know that some breeds are going to get far more territorial than other breeds. Chihuahuas. They're territorial. Here, there. I mean, they can get really big territory. We don't know whether a dog is going to figure that he's running the household. And that doesn't only depend on the dog, it depends on the people. If the people let the dog get away with absolutely everything, then the dog is running the household, whether it wants to or not. And most dogs don't actually want to run a household. They just run a household because nobody else, there's a vacancy up the top. And so somebody's got to take over. I know children like that, who the parents are just let the kids get away with everything, and so the kids run the house. They don't do a very good job either. You tend not to when you're not. Well, actually, a lot of adults don't either, but let's not get into that. And we don't know whether or not the dog is going to be appropriate with all other animals in the household. This isn't just other dogs. This is cats and bunnies and guinea pigs and chickens. And one of the interesting things I find here and at other shelters is trying to make a decision about whether or not to put up a dog for adoption who kills chickens. It has turned up as a controversy, I think 2 or 3 times. And my personal feeling about it is that as long as we can place them where there are no chickens, we're probably going to be okay. Because just because a dog kills a chicken does not mean it's going to kill a cat, does not mean it's going to kill something else or bite a kid. And that's one of the problems we have with the public, by the way. They think that this behavior means that behavior. The two are just, they may be completely separated. One might be predatory and the other one might be I love everybody. But they think because the dog is biting in a predatory fashion that it's going to bite the child or it's going to bite an adult or something like that. And sometimes they are, by the way, but most of the time that doesn't happen.